From Hollywood. Welcome to the Rat's Ass Podcast with Mojo Elliott.
Thank God it's Friday!
Oh, can I get a hell yeah on that one? And yay! We made it through another week, my fiends, without Trump popping a cap in Iran's ass. Yet. So while we're alive, what do you say we take off on another action-packed adventure? Here's what's on tap on the wrap. Is the Democratic Party almost busted? The majority of Americans want to take down Iran, but is it the smooth move? What profession of women cheats more than any other profession will tell you? There are movies that should never be messed with. Let's see if you agree with my picks. And have you heard about the billion-dollar buses yet? Another round of head trauma is on the way. We're going to bring back the movie mash today. Plus, our usual lunacy and loose behavior, including the Friday Funny. That's what's on tap on the Wrap and the Rat's Ass Podcast for Friday, June 20th. And as always, I do appreciate the ears. Hopefully, I'll give you a nice eargasm today. Did you know it was 42 years ago today that the moonwalk was performed by Michael Jackson for the very first time on live TV? 42 years ago, back in 1983. Now, back in the day, when I went to the shopping mall, if anybody got in front of me with a big, ginormous ass, I would do the moonwalk to get away from their rear end. Yeah, and it caused laughter, and I know I was shallow because I did it, but I actually feared for my life. Yeah. Now, I don't know if there's a name for this phobia, but there should be. But it's real, man. It's real. Is the Democratic Party almost bankrupt? Are they busted? New York Times, Nick Shorter, an independent journalist, reported this week that the Democratic Party is almost busted financially. It looks like their big money donors have dried up because they don't support the agenda being pushed by the radical liberal Democrats who have hijacked the party right now. So maybe, just maybe, they want to, deport illegals. Maybe. Maybe they don't want men playing in women's sports. Maybe. They don't want to learn pronouns or agree with children getting sex changes. Maybe they're sick of all the rioting and the burning and the protesting. You got to think some of them were invested in Tesla, by the way. Now, this version of the Democratic Party, I believe, is toast. I think they're done. I think their approval rating is under 25% right now, under 25. And their donors know it. They gave Kamala Harris $2 billion to lose in a landslide. So to me, the best way to hurt rich people is by making them poor. And I think they've gone, you know what? We've wasted a lot of damn money trying to get a Democrat elected, and they're not electable right now. And by the way, did you happen to see the pathetic display of victimhood put on by Democratic Senator stuntman Alex Padilla this week? He was the senator who bull-rushed Kristi Noem's press conference demanding to ask a question before security let him out. Now, he sniffled and cried on the Senate floor, telling the story about how he was pushed to his knees, then to his chest, and handcuffed. And I'm thinking, dude, what are you crying about? This is nothing your wife hasn't done to you before. All right, polls show most Americans are in favor of taking out Iran, but is it the smooth move to do? Now, first of all, I really believe that this is Israel's fight right now. We shouldn't be involved. Maybe give them weapons like we have Ukraine, but keep the men in uniform out of it. Now, do I think it's time to take Iran down? It should have been done 40 years ago, folks. It really has. We just haven't had a president who had the stones to go all the way with it. Now, Iran is on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon, as we know. That's what we're being told. And if it is true, I think their time has run out. It's over because they've chanted death to America and Israel way too many times. We got an 86-year-old Ayatollah who could be out of his frickin' mind and want to just take the whole world out with himself. Now, I know the Iranian guy that I work out with, the Jim Nader, he was at the gym the other day, and I was afraid to approach him about this because you never know how they really feel about it. But he's a fairly nice guy, and I went up to him and just started, just general chat, and he brought it up. He said, I hope they take Iran down. And he said, I haven't seen my parents in 7 years, and I'd like to be able to travel to see them without fear of something happening to me. It's like, wow, dude. I mean, what if something happens to your parents? How would you feel? But kind of left alone from there. But I was surprised that he even said that, yeah, I'm rooting for a regime change in Iran. Trump said he's giving Iran 2 weeks to return and meet his demands, or it could be lights out for the Ayatollah. Remember how we used to say the Ayatollah of rock and roll? Who was that? I don't recall. But in case you didn't know this is what's always driven me nuts about Iran. They've always been a ward on the world of society, And they're just this little country smaller than the state of Alaska, and we've allowed them to do all the terrorism that they've done all these years. So somebody might have been profiting from this, do you think? So what profession of women is guilty of cheating on their men more than any other? According to a new study, it's women in the medical profession, namely doctors and nurses. And when you think about it, they do have free will to check out a man's junk when he's incapacitated by lifting up the gown and going, look at that package. And they might just climb on board for a little who's your daddy action with nobody else being the wiser. Now, next in line, female teachers. We've heard over the years how many times teachers having the hot, lovely relations with underage students, followed by women working in the tech sector. That's a lot of women. So are a lot of women doing the Humpty Dumpty action with people they shouldn't be when they're hitched? Begs another question. So fellas, if you're married to a lady who's in one of these professions, you might want to be on alert if they leave the house wearing a skirt, if you know what I'm saying. All right, the movie Jaws was released 50 years ago today, and it cost $7 million to make, but it was actually $2 million over budget because the mechanical shark, kept breaking down. They had to fix it over and over again. Universal Pictures released the film, and they were pissed about it. They were pissed at Spielberg. They threatened to fire him over this whole thing. And worldwide, though, the movie made just over $477 million. So guess what? Universal suddenly loved them some Steven Spielberg after that, a $470 million profit. That's why I think we're up to like Jaws 99 now. But Jaws is one of those movies that it should have never been remade or offered as a sequel because it was so unique for its time. And I recall me and a couple of friends, we went to see this movie 3 nights in a row because we wanted to see Quint getting eaten by the shark. And Jaws is responsible for millions of people around the world for staying the hell out of the ocean. So think about all the suntan lotion that has been saved from running off people's bodies into the ocean. They save that for the pools. There are movies, though, that should never be remade or offered as a sequel. I read the other day they're thinking about doing Back to the Future again. I'm like, oh, please. Now, granted, we had 2 sequels, and the third one we know was hideous. But I did put together a small list of films that should never be remade or offered as a sequel, and Back to the Future should be on the list, but since they did 2 sequels, I left them off. But the top 5 on my list, and let's see if you agree, I have Animal House, Forrest Gump, Blazing Saddles, Tombstone, and Goodfellas. I just don't think you can remake those movies. Now you're saying, where's The Godfather? Well, again, I left The Godfather off the list, even though technically Godfather 2 and 3 or the continuance of the story. But, I think this trilogy of The Godfather, I think it falls into its own unique category of just leave it the fuck alone.
Somebody needs to tell this whack job that the cup goes in the front.
What?
Here is Mojo Elliott with Rat Sports.
Are you kidding me? The cup goes in the front? Really? Well, get to work on that. Try that out. See how that works. All right, we're going to have to wait until Sunday to find out who wins the NBA championship. Last night, Indiana blew out Oklahoma City 108-91 to force Game 7. They'll play in Oklahoma City where the Thunder are a tough beat, but anything can happen in a Game 7. An injury, somebody fouls out, gets in foul trouble. Oh, it's going to be a good one Sunday night. The Buss family, owners of the Los Angeles Lakers, have sold the team for $10 million. To Mark Walter, the owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I think they're going to be in good hands. But as you guys know, I'm a lifelong Lakers fan. And, I have kind of mixed feelings like a lot of other people here in L.A. But when you consider, Jerry Buss bought this team for $67.5 million in 1979. It also came with fabulous form and the L.A. Kings hockey team. He eventually sold them I think it was to Bruce McNall back in the 80s. But $10 billion is a heck of a profit to walk away from. And the popularity of the NBA is declining, as we know. So I think it's time for the Buss family to cash in, take the money, and run, and I don't blame them one iota. I just want to say congratulations to them and thank them, the Buss family, for 46 years of tremendous Los Angeles Lakers basketball. And that's sports on the Wrap.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Head trauma.
All right, today we're going to play the Movie Mash. I'm going to play 3 movie clips from 3 different movies, and you have to guess all 3 films. Ooh, challenge. Are you up for it? All right, listen close. Here we go. Here's the mash.
No, gotta blame it, dang woman. The show is a mess.
It's exactly 2 seconds before I honk your nose and pull your underwear over your head.
Is it the Franco the Beans?
It's the Frank of the Beans. I know that's why you got the role. All right, listen again, real close. Here's the mashup again.
No, gotta blame it, dang woman. The show is a mess.
It's exactly 2 seconds before I honk your nose and pull your underwear over your head.
Is it the Frank or the beans?
Is it the Frank or the beans? All right, kick it around. I'll have the answer for you coming up a little bit later on here on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
It's time for some loose behavior on the Rat's Ass Podcast.
All right, it is finally Friday. That can only mean it's time for the Friday Funny. Hey, who says women can't make us laugh? Check out Nikki Glacier.
That's all that's in my phone. Text between me and men who will never love me, and naked pictures. I send those, and I shouldn't. The cloud is not secure, but neither am I, and I need constant validation. I don't put my face in the pictures though, mostly because he asked for them that way. But
Hey, heads up. Here comes your celebrity cheese.
All right, we start with a tragic story here. Netflix $1 Million Beach House star Sarah Burke was killed in the Hamptons by a hit-and-run driver who was still on the loose. Sarah's body was found unconscious on a roadway on Long Island early yesterday morning. She was rushed to the hospital and was pronounced dead. Now, let's hope they catch the SOB who did it because he's still on the loose. I mean, who doesn't have compassion enough to stop and help somebody, regardless of what your condition is? All right, Sean Diddy Combs' trial is about to get more interesting. Yeah, more interesting than it has been. You know, they're out there watching porn for 10 minutes. People are getting vertigo and having orgasms. But yeah, it's going to get even more twisted. As the drug mule for Diddy, Brendan Paul is set to testify today. Now, Paul was arrested the same time Diddy was and was given immunity in exchange for his testimony and will see no jail time. But you got to think with Diddy's dough, I hope Paul is going to be placed in the witness protection program. Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders has been nailed for speeding twice this month in Ohio, and he was picked up once for going too slow once, too. He failed to stop and show up for the first one. And last night he was picked up for going 101 in a 20-25 mile an hour zone and stopped for a third time for going 41 in a 60 mile an hour zone. So now you know why Sanders fell to the fifth round and picked number 144 overall. We kind of told you that he was a little suspect, and now we know why. Yeah, he's a little spoiled, I think. There's all hell about to break loose again between Hailey Bieber and Selena Gomez. Now, apparently the two friended each other back in 2023 on all the social media sites, and they were trying to pretend, hey, we're really tight. They were okay. It doesn't matter that Justin once dated Selena Gomez for nearly 8 years. Was it 8 years? It says here, 8 years, nearly 8. The word is, though, they no longer follow each other, and what's worse, they have actually blocked each other this time. Wow, they have blocked each other. That's serious stuff, man. And they block. Whew. You know, you better start checking TMZ every hour on the hour because I know I won't be. And I would be doing my job if I didn't mention this. Britney Spears has now been single for 121 days.
Oh, give us a rat's ass.
Nobody really, I guess.
Rat's Ass Podcast. Email from our Gmail.
All right, as you know, I do not read your email in advance. Fleabag forwards me your name, where you're from, and tidies them up so I can read them rapid fire and on the fly, and no topic is off the table ever. John O., Flagstaff, Arizona said, do you have a go-to joke? I need one to put in my pocket. Actually, John, I have two are my go-to jokes. One's a short one. One's a little bit longer, a little bit of a story. But number one, the first one is, how do you know when you've had a good blowjob? When you have to pull the sheets out of your ass. Gets them every time. Then I have the story about the old bull and the new bull. It's my all-time favorite because there's a lesson involved in this story. An old bull and a young bull are sitting on the hillside overlooking a field of cows. The young bull says to the old bull, hey, old man, what do you say we run down the hill and fuck one of them cows? And the old bull leans back and says, nah, let's just walk down and fuck them all. Yeah. That's another one that gets them every time, unless they've heard it before. Ricky T., Palo Alto, California, said, did you see where the courts ruled in Trump's favor over Gavin Newsom to let him command the National Guard? Yeah, I did. I was excited about it. Big applause. And this was a unanimous 9-0 vote. And nothing says Newsom's a nincompoop more than a 9-0 vote. All right, Jake H., Dayton, Ohio. What are you listening to musically today? The new album from Volbeat, Gods of Angels Trust. It is excellent. excellent. If you like hard rock, it's really a damn good album. I've also re-engaged with a guy named Boris Braja. He's a German DJ producer who spins techno and electronic music, which I'm a big fan of. I call it my thinking music. I like to drive, work out in the gym to it, get ready for the podcast, listening to techno stuff sometimes. But he's the best on the planet, in my opinion. And he's done some really amazing stuff the past few years that I'm catching up on. So if you're into that type of music, check him out on YouTube. That way you can see all of his full sets. All right, Eric B. in Danbury, Connecticut said, do you think we'll ever find out who was running the country while Joe Biden was checked out? You know, as time goes on, man, I get fearful that it's going to get pushed under the rug. I mean, already the left-wing media doesn't talk about it. They never say a damn thing about it. It's on to the next thing. And the only networks really mentioning this is Fox News, and they barely touch on this. It seems like they need it for filler. It's been 226 days since Trump was elected, so that's 226 days past that nobody has figured this out. Now, apparently, they're investigating. And every time they investigate, it just drags things out, and we never find out anything. I'm fearful that it's going to be one of those things that's released 50 years from now, like the Kennedy assassination. All right, Lisa F., Stillwater, Oklahoma. I don't think Indiana needs to trade for a goon. Did you see Sophie Cunningham take out Jay Sheldon with a headlock slam? I think they're good. I did see the replay, but not in real time. But Cunningham, I got to tell you, she looks too sexy to me to be an enforcer. I'm talking about a 6'8" Myles Garrett type, kind of person that walks on the court and they go, uh-oh, they're here to screw us up. Let's be good ball players now. Now, I did read where Cunningham is a black belt in Taekwondo, I think it is, and she played high school football too. Yeah, women playing in men's sports. That's interesting. But I still would rather see her as a secondary backup to a goon because, when she walks on the court, those other ladies are going like, mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd like to have me some of that Sophie Cunningham after the game. Is she available? All right, Riley S. from Lexington, Kentucky said, I'm juggling 3 guys. Fleabag, is Riley a guy or a girl? Do you know? Don't know. Okay. And I know I need to narrow it down to 1, but I like something about all 3. And I haven't slept with any of them, so should I find out who's the best fit first? So basically, you want to sleep with all 3 and decide, yeah, I like them best. I'm not going to tell you what to do in that regard, even though I say I will answer all questions. Here's the way I'll answer it. Fit is important, in the bedroom and out. All right, if you have any questions, observations, or comments, send them to my producer, Fleabag, at ratsasspodcast@gmail.com. And the more outrageous and salacious, the better. And guess what time it is?
Rat's Ass Podcast.
I know this one's driving you nuts, absolutely nuts. And I did it on purpose. All right, today's round, the movie mash. Did you figure out what the movies were? The 3 clips from 3 different movies. Listen one more time.
No, gotta blame it, dang woman. The show is a nut.
It's exactly 2 seconds before I honk your nose and pull your underwear over your head.
Is it the Franco the beans?
All right. Did you figure it out? If you said Blazing Saddles, The Mask with Jim Carrey, and something about Mary.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, you got it right. But if you missed it, go see your doctor about a head trauma and get well soon. You got plenty of time over the weekend. Emergency rooms shouldn't be that full. I got to go. I got to polish my gargoyle statues on the gate of my estate. But I do have one more thing for you. Would you believe 75% of the women are conditioned to ask questions they already know the answer to? This is why it's best to always tell the truth, guys. Always tell the truth. Or you can do what I do. Answer a question with a question. Works every time.
Have you ever left a floater?
Oh, God. Alexa, what's your record for asking stupid questions?
Just do your shout-outs to Rat Nation Floater Boy.
Oh, God, AI bimbo.
You feel better, motherfucker?
Yeah, I do. Welcome to Rat Nation. Michael LaForte of Providence, Rhode Island. Taylor Tyler of San Antonio, Texas. Denise Robinson of Fargo, North Dakota. To the Resistance, those of you who email us at the Rat's Ass Podcast. But don't join Rat Nation. What the hell's wrong with you? Join up. I think we're up to 347 members, by the way. But Skylar T., Bridgeport, West Virginia. Brad B., Lincoln, Nebraska, and Danny Y. of Decatur, Illinois, along with people listening around the world in Canada, sorry, Edmonton, Bolivia, Brazil, and, of course, Ireland.
Now's your chance to be one of the few and the loud. Join Rat Nation at ratsasspodcast.com. Membership does have its rewards, you know.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the Rat's Ass Podcast. Be sure to check out the new ratsasspodcast.com to connect with us on the socials. Listen to the podcast. Join Rat Nation. Read the blog. It is loaded with current events, pop culture, music, concert info, the radio wars, sports, our Q&A, Battle of the Sexes, plus the Dumbass Awards for 2025 so far. We'll do this again on Monday, June 23rd. Have a fantastic weekend. Take care of each other, and thanks for dropping by the Rat's Ass Podcast.
The conversation continues between podcasts on X and ratsasspodcast.com. ratsasspodcast.com.